You're not going to sell anything. What would anyone buy anything from you? So I'm Tyler Gleeson, owner of 1010 Clothing. It's a streetwear brand based in Birmingham. 10 out of 10, best of the best. The TEN acronym is to embrace negativity. So that's where my whole, from when I've grown up and the way I've expressed myself, and the TEN really stands for, well, if you believe in something, no matter what negativity is thrown at you, take that on board and channel it into something positive.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Visionation Success Stories podcast. Today my special guest with me here is Tyler. Nice to meet you, bro. How you been?
Nice to meet you. All good, man.
How's your day been?
It's been excellent. Just good day. Cracking on with stuff.
Bit of a chill day.
Yeah, man. First one in a while.
It's good, bro. So for the viewers that don't know who you are, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Tyler Gleeson, the owner of 1010 Clothing. It's a streetwear brand based in Birmingham.
Let's just throw it back all the way to the start. How did you get started in what you're doing now and your like kind of upbringing and childhood? How was it?
Yeah, childhood was good. So growing up in Birmingham, grew up in Sparkhill, youngest of three brothers. Mum and dad household, hard workers. So I would say I learnt a lot from them, learnt a lot from my brothers. So from Sparkhill, I moved to Yardley Wood in about year two. Completely different kind of area, to be fair. Growing up in Sparkhill, very multicultural, but then moving to the school which I went to then was in Solihull Lodge, so that's a different kind of area, less populated, multicultural area. Settled in fine, met a lot of good people, and then from there, secondary school. Went to 3 secondary schools, so secondary school is a little bit trying to find myself, if anything. So from leaving school then, I actually didn't start the clothing brand as soon as I left school. I've always been into fashion, but it was something where, you know, having older brothers, I started seeing them wearing the latest designer clothes and the price tag of it all. It wasn't making sense to me. Being a lot younger, I understood it, what wearing nice clothes does and the look, but to me it didn't have no meaning. I just seen everyone flocking, going to shops and buying stuff with no meaning. For me, that was the gap in the market. For someone being young, I wanted to express myself. So the brand, which I ended up building, 1010, so 10 out of 10, best of the best. Yeah. The TEN acronym is to embrace negativity. So that's where my whole meaning of the brand and the message of the brand from when I've grown up, from the way I've expressed myself. So to embrace negativity, it's a connotation for the TEN, the 10 for the 10 out of 10. And the TEN really stands for, well, if you believe in something, no matter what negativity is thrown at you, take that on board and channel it into something positive.
That's quite interesting. So you got like a bit of a meaning and culture behind your actual clothing brand, because you know, a lot of maybe people might just start a clothing brand and will just for the sake of it, but you've got an actual meaning behind it.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like a meaning as well. Like for me, that's why, you know, if you go onto my social media, I'm very much pushing the meaning a lot through the brand, because I've found that people who join the brand and actually represent the brand, they hold that meaning. So it's more than clothing, it's imprinted in the clothes. Do you understand? So for me, that's where my passion comes from. It's seeing people wear the brand, but knowing the meaning's that strong behind it. People always have that ingrained in their mind.
How did it actually all come about then?
Literally thought the brand name, Google. I'm very much someone who's like, well, if I want to start something, I'm going to try it. How old was you, by the way? I would say I was 18 then, you know.
Okay.
18, but from just to let you know a little bit more context of my background. So as I said, I left school, no grades. Had a cousin who done roofing. there was literally nothing going on for myself. Tried apprenticeships, couldn't get in. Tried college, but for the grades, for the kind of courses what I wanted to go on to, the grades just wasn't matching. So I'd literally have to start off from the bottom to go to the top.
Yeah.
And for myself, I was very much someone who could articulate myself. I could speak to people. I could, I was able to do everything which anyone else could at the top of the classes, if that makes sense. So for me, I was being judged on the grades what I left school with, but not on the person of who I am.
Yep.
So back to the brand, to embrace negativity, I took that on and I thought, you know what? No, I want to do something for me. So my cousin said, I can get you in a job. So for me, as soon as I left school, I went straight into work. It was doing something what I didn't actually want to do long term, but I was trying to find myself through them stages. And then, from the roofing, I remember clothing. I just thought, I want to start something for myself. I want something that's going to have meaning. I wear clothes every day. So how about building an identity through that? And then, literally, then I went to Google, looked at local places where I could get clothing made up. And the first start of the brand was literally just font. It was the typing words, 1010. Ordered a sample in. And then from there, that's how the brand just developed and started.
So when you started off, it was just yourself?
Yeah, just myself. It always has been myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you started the brand. You got a few samples, and then from there, was it like, how quickly did you start seeing like sort of success into it, or was it like a long process where you maybe had doubts and stuff?
Yeah, I would say any business is never quick success.
Yeah.
And for me, I never grew up around no business background, so it's been a journey, to tell the truth. But one thing what I have learned is each part of that journey, what you go through, for me personally anyway, that's like, it's growth in each part. Mm-hmm. So when I first started, for instance, I'll tell you a quick story, what I haven't really told anyone before. So when I first started the brand, I knew myself I was capable of doing anything with the brand. So I remember jumping into work to go, when I was doing the roofing, and these times I already had my t-shirt printed up, posted it to social media, and then I had like a little feedback from there, like, what's that, what you wearing? Yo, that's nice, that is, etc, etc. And I jumped into the work van in the morning, and my cousin and the work colleague who we work with said to my cousin, I'm going to start a brand, clothing brand, and instantly shut me down. You're not going to sell anything. What would anyone buy anything from you? Instantly. And I just took that on board, and I thought to myself, all right, that's what you think.
Yeah.
And from there, like, that was the hunger in my belly. Like, I've always been someone who's been very, like, I wouldn't say rebellious, I think that's probably the wrong word, but I was someone who was very, like, what's the right word to put into context? Curious. Someone curious of the unknown. Somebody who's like, oh, okay, so that's what you think. Yeah. And I'll keep the doubters there, okay, cool. And I was very much then like, I'm going to prove you and whatever's in my way to get to finally start pushing the brand and seeing what I can actually do. Yeah,
that's literally like what you mentioned, that your brand is embracing the negativity, and that was the negativity you got like right at the start.
Right at the start.
And you embraced it, and then got to where you are.
Most definitely.
Yeah, so it seems to me that obviously you mentioned that incident, and like you didn't listen to people's opinions, which is really important in whatever business you go into, because everyone has an opinion and there's not much you can do about it. Yeah. Like, what are you going to do? You can just take it on board, just ignore it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So was it a lot that you received kind of thing, and you powered through it? Is that how you saw it?
Yeah, that's most definitely it. I would say, I wouldn't say I don't listen to everyone, but I feel as if as you go through the journey of finding yourself through business, there's certain people who you would choose to listen to, and there's maybe some people who you won't choose to listen to. Yeah. So for me, the doubters are the people who I choose not to listen to. It's the people who are negative. I would take on what they're saying, but I would use that as a cycle to turn that into power. Yeah, to fuel you. Yeah, to fuel me, exactly.
In terms of the actual brand, clothing brand, why did you go for like a clothing brand?
As I said, something what we wear every day. It's an essential. But for me, as I said, if I could bring something what you wear every day,
Yeah.
and turn that into something what had a meaning, it's powerful.
Yeah.
What we walk around every day wearing clothes that have no meaning.
Yeah.
So imagine imprinting
100%.
the meaning through the brand's message into clothes. It's more than a piece of clothing. So yeah, that's something that, for me, that was always the goal. It's creating something where people feel good about wearing it. There's a message through the clothing of when you're wearing it. So every day through your journey, when you're wearing that clothes, the meaning in itself, if that can stick with you every day,
Yeah.
and no matter what, let's say if I said to you and turned to you and said, "Oh, see the job that you work in, it's the only place that you're staying in life."
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you already know, you know what, let me just embrace that negativity and turn that into, do you understand? So
Yeah,
for me,
100%,
yeah,
man.
that's my that's why I went into the clothing game.
Your expression and creativeness onto the clothing brand, like what kind of stuff did you expect, or how did you express yourself through the clothing?
So I've done that through campaigns.
Okay.
So what I've done, I've actually, a lot more to come as well. But so far through the brand, what I've done a lot of, so through COVID, actually NHS workers, we do a lot of community work and giving back and things like that. So throughout COVID, NHS workers, we created hampers for all the workers through the brand. So we're showing that part of community. We're very intact with the community, really. I've also done campaigns with different people around the city, different backgrounds, and through whatever they do, bringing that message into it whilst they're wearing the clothing. So, we've done a thing with a single mom, we've done a rapper, done someone who wanted to create, to become an artist, drawing on trainers. We had someone who's a music artist. So by bringing all of this in, we clearly show through the clothing, no matter what journey you're currently at, this clothing can mean something a lot more for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've done it a lot. There's a lot more to come as well.
Like getting that message across, like
Yeah.
the actual, like the purpose behind the whole thing
Exactly.
at the higher level is that.
Yes.
But like in terms of the actual designs and stuff themselves, what kind of way did you express yourself? Is there like a specific kind of, design that you have, or like?
Yeah, so the best-selling collection so far we brought out was called the Blueprint collection.
Yeah.
And with that collection, it ingrained where the brand's being made, so Birmingham.
Yeah.
And obviously it started off with, when you think of the brand and the starting of the brand and the word blueprint, it's foundations.
Yeah.
And normally from a sketch, you would have a blueprint. So when the design's about to start. So with that collection, we've done the brand's actual logo as outlines to imprint as a blueprint. If you was going to look at a drawing, we had the coordinates of Birmingham.
Yeah.
We even had the type of materials that were used and the different quality control which goes through the whole process of these things. And then from the back end of that, because the Birmingham means a lot to actually the brand, the people who have wore the brand, there's people from Bahrain who ordered the tracksuit. There was someone from, we've had footballers buy the tracksuits.
Yeah.
So little things and little design aspects, we are bringing a bigger thing to actual Birmingham in itself, because when people have got coordinates on the clothing, for all they know, the coordinates could mean anything.
Yeah.
But these little details are coming back to, I want to try and show people in Birmingham, we can have a movement. The brand can go to places in different parts of the country and worn by people, because I don't feel like it's being seen as much, to be fair. So yeah, it's adding that little bit of inspiration as well.
Yeah, I think there was something I saw on your brand. I can't remember if it was like, I don't know if it was like a QR code or like, is it a QR code?
Yeah, so that was to do with the Blueprint collection as well.
Okay, what was that exactly?
So, throughout the brand, I've been very much so, in terms of like the whole influencers and everything. We've kind of just been very organic with the brand. So what we've done, this was through COVID, and just after COVID, when QR codes were a thing, we implemented that into the design of the clothing. So what we ended up doing is, whoever wore the clothing, as he said, the people are the influence of the brand. So when you're going around wearing the brand, you had the QR code on the back. So the design aspect of that was when someone scans it, it'll go straight to the website.
Okay.
So yeah, we're implementing different things and technology ways into the brand and just creating something a lot different to everyone else. Like
Yeah.
Can see
there's a lot of creativity that's gone behind it, which is essential in something like that in fashion. Like, you know, there's a lot of brands out there, there's a lot of different things that people do, and you got to find ways to stand out, basically. And I can see that you've done that 100%. More onto the business side of it, how have you found growing the business from what it was right at the start to scaling it up to where it is, going through like procedures and processes, learning stuff? What's like the biggest issues and challenges you faced in that, like production lines and stuff like that?
So I would say for me personally, as I said, from the background of myself, there's been no, like, I haven't learned from anyone in terms of business, so it's finding my feet in business. So starting off, it was literally printing up my t-shirts, 20 t-shirts of 2 colours, so black t-shirts and white t-shirts 2020, and then hats 2020. Literally started off like that. So it started off within my own community, driving around in my car, friend wanted something, friend will tell a friend, and literally outreaching like that. So then when I've took that from word of mouth to creating a website, now it's more people. So with that more people what come to the brand, it's about how do you actually, how do you find a supplier who can run up more of this item? So for me, it was very much so learning them different steps and making sure that throughout them steps, the quality doesn't change, the message doesn't change, and making sure delivery doesn't change. Which ways can I deliver things? How can I get it out quicker to customers? What about international customers? So for me, it's literally been learning from the ground up. But each step I've loved it, to be fair. Any challenges as well. Like, I've had a lot of challenges. Like, I don't want people to think, this is easy. Like, a lot of things have been many challenges along the way.
Must have been a lot of like chopping and changing with like, I don't know, like the suppliers or like delivery, whatever, like you mentioned. Like there must have been like some stuff goes wrong, and then like, because it's the first time you're trying it and you don't like have any background in it, so it's just learning the process. But do you think that now you've going towards the place where like you've got all these processes structured in place, and now it's like running smoothly?
Most definitely. Like, to add to the story what I was just saying as well, so when I first started out, I literally ended up making up a certain amount of money, and I went for the big dive. So when I say a big dive, I maybe made the jump a bit too quick, and what I'd done, I ended up ordering tracksuits from Pakistan. I'd done it with a thing where there was literally, I didn't have size guides, didn't really know about material back then, and literally just ended up ordering, I think it was like 75 tracksuits in 75 men's tracksuits, 75 female tracksuits. And I'll be honest, it was the worst mistake I've made, to be fair. Like, because I was so early on the journey, as I said, you learn along the way. So for me, that was a big learning curve, because when they ended up actually coming to me, they were terrible. I ended up selling a bit and whatever, but then I just thought to myself, you know what? This isn't a product I actually want to put out there. And I just didn't end up putting them out there. I literally didn't. I just thought, nah, I can't do it. Because with me as well, I value, from the journey of when I've come and I've worked and I've had like different jobs and things, I value money. So for me, I wouldn't do nothing and sell an item of clothing which I wouldn't wear myself or be comfortable wearing. So
it's like, in terms of like material or whatever, like it is, you don't want that quality to deteriorate. You want it to stay the same to a level that's acceptable for yourself. So in terms of that, like, what did you do like after that? So in terms of like supply and stuff, do you have like a constant like supply, like reliable supply now? Kind of things?
Most definitely. So throughout the journey, it's literally just been finding suppliers. I've also, even to now where I'm at, because now I'm getting to the quantity levels of, I need someone who can produce mass turnarounds. So as of recently, I actually ended up going abroad to a manufacturer's warehouse and stuff like that, through connections and networking, what I've done. That was a massive step for myself. Very big. It opened up my eyes as well. to think like where I actually started as well to get into that level. It was like it's another milestone really. It's like you know, I know now the next stuff what I end up bringing out is going to be progressive to the last stuff. Even though I'm setting the bar high, I realise that throughout this journey of business, there's always levels to reach which can go, you know, further.
100%. Like, you know, there's no limit to what you can achieve.
No limit.
Especially when you see like, you'll see like successful brands, global brands. You'll see how far they've come, what they've done.
Most definitely.
And I think there's a lot of, you know, props to you because there's a lot of steps and a lot of things involved in like the branding. Like from the top of my head, I can just think of like logistics and design, and there's a lot of things. And then like there's the customer side of it as well, customer satisfaction, and people are being unhappy and that kind of thing. So at the moment right now, do you have like a team at the moment, like any kind of staff members?
So throughout the whole period of when I've had the brand, there hasn't been no team. To be honest, props to my girlfriend, to be fair. Like, she's helped a lot. My family as well. Like, I've got a very supportive family. I feel like that plays a massive part as well. Very supportive, like my mum, my dad, brothers, even outside of that, like, friends as well. So like having that support system, that just spirals you on a lot more as well. So I'm very grateful for that. But so where the team's at now, I'm currently taking on like things like graphic designer. Obviously I got my manufacturers there. I have a regular person I'd use for photography. Shout out Dex. And videography as well. So like as of recently, before that, I would use freelancers who I've worked for a long time with. But now it's about finally getting to the steps now of actually bringing in people to work on different things, which is another good step for myself, because it just takes the ease off certain things. But as you know yourself, as business owners, like, we wear a lot of different hats and you have to, but it's just for you now, I feel like you're at that level where you want to do the tasks that are going to make you the money. There's certain tasks that you can do that are important to the business. You have to do them. But for you can get someone else to do it. You can outsource it. So it's removing yourself at each level. And you want to get to a point, ideally, where you have a whole team beneath you, and they're able to carry out the tasks, and then you are able to do the stuff that's actually going to grow the business even further. Exactly. And I want people to understand as well that throughout this journey, you know, there hasn't been any investment and nothing like that. So it's been self-funded. So everything what I put in, if there's a loss, I have to take the loss. You basically, it's been start, go down, start, build, and keep going. And that's what I want people to actually understand when you are going into business and things like that. You know, sometimes the money's a great thing, of course. But for me, I've done the 360 of it. I've built the brand. Do you know what I mean? So now the brand's at the point, as you just said, once now I have people coming in, then the money will come. And I've been very focused on that. Like, I know where I'll end up getting within this business and my brand. So for me, it's about, you know, what's the best job when you're creating something? Are you going to do it half-hearted? Are you going to make that the best product when someone gets it? And I've been very much focused on that. So now, I'm at the stage now where it's about taking it up a whole nother level now. So
So one thing that interests me in what you said was you dived in too quick. After you made a bit of money, you dived back in too quick. Obviously you made the mistake of, you know, ordering all them tracksuits and stuff. But obviously you learned a lesson from it at the end of the day. But the thing is, it made me think that a lot of people, especially like our generation, they might start a business and they'll make a bit of money, but they won't reinvest it back into their business. Like, what do you think? Like, but at the same time, I feel like people that do start a business and are like tenacious and everything, they're likely to reinvest it anyway. But some people, they might not. Like, how do you like convince yourself to stay on track? Like, it's like a automatic thing, right? Like, what would you say to someone that's starting a business and thinking about splashing out, for example, like splashing out on just, I don't know, like a clothes, car, wherever it is?
I just feel like, for me personally, I know exactly what I want from the business. That's first and foremost. And as well as that, I feel as if, I think I posted something the other day and I said, like, I don't have to prove to anyone how much hours I do within my business.
Mm-hmm.
But all you need to know is business is not easy. Like, and for a statement like that, I feel, as you just said, what you just said, I feel as if business isn't easy. A lot of it's mentality, it's your mindset. Let's say now if I've made, for instance, I don't know, I've had an order come in for $2,000, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
If that $2,000 comes in and I decide that my mindset's thinking, as soon as I make $2,000 out of my business, I'm going to go and splash out, man.
Yeah.
What's the next step look like? You've got to be thinking what's next for your business.
Yeah.
Is $2,000 going to go now into marketing? Is $2,000 now going to go into buying more stock?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? I feel as if, as I said to you from the first start when we were speaking earlier, for me, the money side of things comes. I know money will come.
Yeah.
So if my mindset's already thinking, first and foremost, money, that means whatever money comes in, my mindset's already thinking, oh yeah, I'll spend that however I want.
Yeah.
But this is why I feel like in business, yeah, it's all good focusing on money and everything else. But if your mindset's just thinking whatever money you make, and the second thought is, how can I spend that?
Yeah.
Where are you going to get to?
Yeah.
It's a long game for me. I'm all about the journey.
100%. I agree 100%. Because, like, you can chase the money. I feel like at the start of the business, it's good to chase the money because you'll need the money to keep.
Yeah.
You'll need that money to keep your business going.
Mm-hmm.
But if you see yourself at a level, like, no one's gonna think, like, for example, you started your clothing brand, you didn't think like, oh yeah, like, I'm gonna get to like 100 sales and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, obviously you think to the next level. That might have been one of your goals.
Yeah.
And then you go 100 sales, 1,000 sales, 100k, whatever.
Exactly.
And you keep going, like, it never really stops.
Doesn't stop.
And
no.
you get that money and you reinvest it into your business. And then obviously there's nothing wrong with like treating yourself, but to a point where you're still growing your business, reinvesting it, and not going too over the top, because you're right, like the money will like come. Like, if you chase the success, the money will chase you.
Yeah.
100%.
I agree with that. And the thing is what you just said there, it's like, are you buying them things for yourself? Or are you buying them things for everyone else to see?
Mm-hmm.
What do we calculate success to be? Your success could look completely different to mine.
Yeah.
And I feel as if, as I said, mindset, once we start getting into that social media side, I need to look the best on socials. That's the biggest downfall I would say, for business people of our generation. It's more so about keeping up with everyone else. Like, there's nothing wrong with I wouldn't say come off social, but there's nothing wrong with, be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've kind of wanted to bring into the brand. Like, it's, the brand is completely different to other brands. I don't really see brands nowadays go through the same lane as what I'm going. Authentic.
Yeah.
Authentic exactly. For me is, people buy into people. So yeah, that's my kind of standpoint on that side of things.
A lot of people we mentioned it earlier about, shutting down the opinions of others. Yeah. That's part of it. Like, people will see, your social media, and people watch you and they'll have their opinion on you. No matter what, if you flaunting or if you're not flaunting, whatever you're doing, like, at the end of the day, no one cares. Like, I've mentioned this a lot in my podcast with all my guests. I talk a lot about social media because I think it's really powerful, and that's very evident already in this current climate. And it's just that, people, you've just got to shut it down. You just got to trade true to yourself, stay authentic, and literally that's what your brand is. Yeah. And the way it's 100%. I agree with everything you mentioned about your brand. Yeah. And I can see like why it's been successful, and I see why it's different to other brands. So definitely. Yeah.
Just to add to the point as well, like, I think it should be a thing where you should run social media. Don't let social media run you.
Yeah.
And I feel as if, like, nowadays you can let social media run you, meaning whatever you see cool on social media, you can jump on the back end of that.
Yeah.
And that way, you're completely diverting who you are as a person to try and look the best you for social media. But there's nothing wrong with, being yourself. Like, I don't know, and sometimes my standpoint on social media is a bit different. Yeah. But I feel as if we both connect on that social media standpoint.
I agree. Because also, when you see that kind of stuff, and this is like quite common, like a lot of that stuff is not real, like it's just fake.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there like that will be like fake, and you can just see like the kind of person that person may be if they, you know, they just started something and they made a bit of money and they're just like flashing out like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, that's
standing next to a Lamborghini and this and that.
yeah, that's it.
You know what I mean? Like at the start, obviously, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But it's the point where if that's all you're showing, then what's the point? Like if you're showing your business and showing that, yeah, fair enough.
That's it.
That's something maybe I would do as well. But you have to show that business side of it. You can't just flaunt it, because that's what people see.
Yeah.
Someone that's, you know, not have a business, someone young will see that like, you know, I want that. Like, how did they get it? And then it's just pictures of that, and just
that goes on to another part for myself as well. I realise the influence as a business owner you have as well. So for me, there's probably a lot of younger people in my area, whatever, who could look up to myself. If I'm only showing them, let's say, how much money I've made and, you know, what car I'm driving and all of these things, you know, for me, I always think about the next generation. For me, I want to be very impactful in the next generation. So, and I feel as if that's where our generation's gone wrong, in a sense, because we more so, the generation probably before us, they probably was a lot more like, oh, look what car he's driving. Or so what's happening is we've took that into our own lives now. And that's been passed, the torch has been passed on to us, like, show everything you got and how much money you've made, because that makes you look better as a person. But what does that teach the next generation? Is it we always just chase money, or are we going to show our true self? You're not going to have a great, you know yourself as a business owner, not every day is 100%. But as long as you keep that going to the next part, then, you know, I feel like, that's what's really going to take you to the next level. It's not stopping. You got to stay grounded in social media 100%. But as I mentioned, social media is powerful. Very powerful. It's very powerful. There's so many benefits out there, and it's like one of the best. Like, the benefits are endless.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that, you know, don't post on social.
Yeah.
At all, but it's been a bit more mindfulness of probably what direction you want to go down.
Staying true to yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So, in terms of that, you know, it's powerful, and I've seen that your brand is quite out there on social media.
Yeah.
And I like the way the aesthetic is and the way it is, and even your personal page as well. And I've seen like you've used social media to your advantage. You know, you've had a couple of footballers wear your clothing. I think Thomas Partey and
Benicofobia. Yeah.
So how did that come about?
I would say one of my strongest traits is networking.
Yeah.
To be fair, the Thomas Partey thing, that was just out of the blue. Seriously, I had one of his team reach out.
Okay.
And a couple big things.
Must have loved that man as an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I can't lie to you. I had to double check that it was the real thing. I was like, huh? What? Nah. But then when I started chatting back and forth with the person, they sent me over an email. Email was to Thomas Partey, and then from then back and forth. So we had, well, hopefully, still something to come in regards to that. But Thomas Partey, Benick, he loved the brand, using social media to my power. I just started liking some of his things, started liking them back.
Okay.
From the DM, said, resonates with me, the brand does, and whatever else. And then, from there, to be honest with you, Benick's been the biggest buyer from the brand since started. And
he's good, man.
He's such a nice guy, and from the connection what we've made, offline now, forget about the socials and that, good peoples.
It seems like it, man, because obviously for him to actively buy a brand, one thing he likes, the other thing is he's using his own platform to benefit you. Well, and that's just about bringing other people up with you.
Well, that's it. And the thing is as well, one thing with myself is it's you know, I feel like when it comes to people who have status, your footballers, your rappers, you have to be your authentic self. Because with them, me and Benick, we speak on a grounded level. It's not about what can you do for me, what can I get out of you.
Yeah.
It's a normal conversation, normal people. Do you know what I mean? And when he bought the clothing, I met him, drove down to him, had a food, took me to his family house, and just straight away, man, top person. And yeah, just from the back end of that, just me being my authentic self, he's bought into the brand. And yeah,
it shows that you can take you places, just being
most definitely,
being
and
true to yourself.
And just to add to that point as well, like, I didn't have to ask Bennett to post my brand on his socials. He done that out of the liking of the brand. So yeah, I just feel like being your authentic self is key. I personally think. But,
the same with Thomas Partey as well. You said his team reached out to you. Like, you didn't go out, and it just came from your social media presence and how you portrayed yourself. 100%. You stay true to yourself. You know, you'll get the benefits of it.
It's like I always use the analogy, because I'm a proper music fan, to be fair. I always use the analogy of, you can have people who can blow up quick, or you can have a J. Cole. And the reason I say this is because J. Cole, he's not someone who shows the flashy lifestyle, but if you look at his journey as a music artist, it's consistently started like that, and without all the, him wearing all the designer big chains and all these things, he's just went like that. So for me, that's kind of like my own journey in a sense. Like, I feel as if every day I always say I'm just getting started.
Yeah, so it just goes to show, like, staying true to yourself is the best thing that you can do. And you touched on previously, it's what the whole brand is, and you've done a lot of community work and that kind of stuff. So in terms of that, what's the reason for that? So, like, is it for the younger generation? You want them to grow up in an environment that our generation maybe never had? Is that the reason behind it, or what kind of? Yeah,
well, basically throughout that, really and truly, I want to create a movement of like-minded people, of people who, as you said, the younger generation can look up to, and it's also creating that, people's truth throughout the brand, if that makes sense. Like, if people feel like you can express yourself, as I said, when I started the brand, it was for a form of expression. So if people can do that throughout the brand, whilst wearing the brand, that's exactly the direction I want to go with the brand. So that's the reason. Community as well. I feel as if nowadays, if you look around communities and that, speaking of Birmingham, because that's where we're both from, sometimes I feel as if I can somehow connect different areas to be with a part of the brand, I feel as if that's like very strong. And that's really my goal, to be fair.
Because I saw on your, I think it was your personal page, where you mentioned about a guy you saw growing up in your local area. And he was doing like school run, and then recently you seen he wasn't doing too well. And you got, like, with the help of the community, like your community that you have, you got some like clothes for him and stuff. So is that, like, that resonated with me a lot, because I feel like as a business owner, that's the kind of thing you should be going towards. And for me, like, the ultimate, like, goal is obviously be successful, but also make it like a change. Like, a lot of people will go into that direction, but then they'll only care for themselves. They'll have a lot of selfish motives, and I think it's really important to bring people up with you, and especially the people that are like the worst in need. You know what I mean?
Most
so
definitely.
That's why building a community, and obviously clearly you have that with your brand.
So that's what I mean. I try and stay true to what the brand represents, but offline myself as well. I feel as if that's key, because you can either connect with me on my own personal, or connect with me on my obviously not connect with me on my 1010, because they don't know a lot of customers maybe who actually behind the account, if that makes sense. But I want people to know that, the brand owner, what is he doing behind the scenes, and what is he about? And I feel like that's very key, because as you said, imagine now if I've went and spent £500 with 1010, but offline on 1010, the owner, all he's doing is going out spending the money what I've bought the clothes for on this lifestyle, what he's showing off in his own thing. Transparency is key, because I know if I'm buying from an independent brand, like, it's, I don't know, it has to offline is also key as a business owner. Community, as I said, for me, it's always been a big thing. I've always been someone, like, if I can put someone in an opportunity, I'd happily put someone in the opportunity.
Do you feel like you've achieved or working towards achieving like that community feeling within your brand or your personal like branding, or you think it's still something you're working towards? I see that we want to achieve.
I feel as if it's been very strong. Throughout the brand, you will see the aspects of diversity. It's multicultural, like mixture of races that you see wearing the brand and the people. So for me, yeah, it's ingrained already in the brand. I feel as if you can always take it to a scale what's even bigger. You can always do things a lot different, and yeah, for me, I would say so far within the brand it's been ingrained well. Yeah. But it's always continuous. I'll be lying if I said that's it. Like, there's always ways I want to continue doing it. So yeah. For me, it's a continuous growth, continuous thing.
Yeah, definitely, because that resonates with me a lot, the community thing, because same way you're thinking, like this whole podcast is for me to like, I want to create a community.
Yeah.
And for all the viewers listening, like that's what I want to create. I want to inspire like 100 people can watch it or 50 people can watch it. I don't really care.
Yeah.
As long as that one person, they listen to it and they're like, you know what, might have to change something.
That's it.
And that triggers a spark in them. That's all I care about.
That's your job done, yeah.
Exactly. And I've stayed true to myself. I'm not trying to bend it in ways that trying to get views or anything. Like I'm not too fussed. It'll come. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't come, it doesn't come. That's it. Like, you know what I mean?
100%.
Because at the end of the day, I need to stay true to myself, and there's no point in me getting someone sat here that's maybe going to get me that viral content, but they're not the right person that I want to talk to about. They're not all about like community. They're not all about doing these things for people. They're just about themselves, or they have those kind of things. So 100% that resonates with me, and that's the thing I'm working towards. Like,
and it will come. It will come. I feel like the biggest thing you can do in this generation is be true to yourself. Yeah. Authenticity does not lie. And the thing what I mean by that is being authentic. You can't lie about being authentic. With your intentions, you can't lie with your intentions. Yeah. So being authentic it's key. Like I feel as if, as you said, being authentic, you might not get the most likes, you might not get the most comments, but as you said, you're connecting with the right people. Yeah. And I feel like with what you said then, that's why I connected with the podcast. Yeah. Because looking into it, when I had a look, I seen exactly the direction you go in. I resonated with that. Like the people who you've had on here already, and you as a person as well. Yeah. You're authentic. So yeah, man, perfect.
Appreciate it, man. Definitely. Touching back on the people that are like the haters, right? Like those kind of people, they can give their opinions on wherever it is, but as long as you're being authentic, you're attracting whatever you want. Like it might be less, as you mentioned, like it might be less people, but as long as you're getting the right people, it doesn't matter. Like you can, everyone's gonna have their opinions on whatever it is. Yeah. And as long as you make that, it resonates with someone. And the thing with authenticity is if you are not being true to yourself, you'll know that in yourself. You'll know, like, you know what, this is not really me. Yeah. But you'll be fighting against your own kind of character, and it's just like, what I mean? It won't feel right to yourself. Like you won't, I feel like you might, in the future, you'll regret it. Like
100%.
You'll look back and feel like, why wasn't I true to myself? Exactly. And I feel like eventually it will come around to like bite you, or like it would just like go up in flames or something. Like I don't know. Like it's just that's the way I think. That's why you just have to be true to yourself, authentic. 100%.
I think exactly the same thing. And as you said, haters. There's a guy called Wallow who I watch quite a lot, and he said there's never a thing called haters, because haters are a part of your marketing team. And when he breaks that down, I kind of think to myself, you know what? You have to let them people do what they're doing. Yeah. A lot of times, it's not really hate what people are doing. They admire what you're doing. Could be you as a person, what they don't like. Yeah. Do you understand? So sometimes you realise that these people are the ones who send the messages out. But then depending on who takes on the message, when that person comes back to actually have a look, they'll be like, you know what? I actually like this brand. I like what the brand resonates with. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, for me, I'll try and stay away from even thinking about haters. Yeah. it's a part and parcel of the journey what we're on, man. If
Yeah.
I focus all day on what people say bad about, you know, anything what I do, then what are we doing this for?
Yeah.
We can't buy into what, you know, we're doing it for what we want to get to and the goals that we want to achieve. And that's back to that as well, authenticity, staying true to yourself. It's a key thing, man.
Yeah,
Key.
it's always going to be like that, as you said, part and parcel of what this is and what social media in general is as well. Like, not to say there can be haters outside of social media, but social media is like anyone, like any person can see your content and see what you're about.
Yeah.
And they can hate on it. Like, I'm sure you receive it a lot. For myself, like, you know, it can be flattering to have haters. That means you're doing something right. You know what I mean?
That's it.
And obviously you'll see that, and most of the time you ignore it. But sometimes I like replying to them, say something funny back. You know what I mean? Just to, like, you know, give it back to them a little bit. Not that I'm getting like triggered by it, but it's just, you know, give them a little, say something funny back. You know, like a little funny remark. It's, you know, and it's a bit of fun. Like, to me, that's a bit of fun. Like, it's just
you just having a little play around it. You know, like, saying that, when I got one of the big achievement for myself was getting put in the Birmingham Mail. Yeah. And Birmingham Live actually posted up the story. Ended up doing like crazy numbers. I think it's about 70% most landed traffic on my website. There was over, I think, 3,000 reshares, things like that. But as you said, you tune into sometimes the negativity. And as much as the positivity was there, and I looked in the comments, I channeled into the negative. And, you know, there was people saying some crazy stuff, and it's like, how could you say that about someone who's got put into something which is positive, but you chose to write something negative? But this is what I mean. We choose to what we focus on in it, and the thing is, am I going to listen to what one person's saying over 100 people saying great stuff? And I forget about that one person. You're upset with whatever's going on in your life. And I hope that you can change your mindset from time, do you know what I mean? But my journey, I have to continue doing what I'm doing. And I feel like that's what I mean. Man, you just got to stick to what you're doing, man.
Yeah, 100%, man. Haters are always going to be there. And one thing I've like noticed, or something I've like done, is, you know, when someone hates, don't like, obviously I mentioned I'll give them like funny comments back. But treat them with respect. Like, I had a few comments on like a TikTok, the one that you mentioned about, the one I went to Liverpool. And there were just some guys who were making some remarks, and I was just like, obviously I replied to him first, like, what are you talking about, this, that. And I was just like, then he was like, oh, you know, he's saying his stuff back, and I was like, you know what, I wish you the best, bro, like, have a good day. And then he didn't say anything, like, he just, you know, because what can you say? Like, if you're hating and someone says something to you in a polite way back to you, and, you know, the opposite, like,
you've got to question yourself.
You're not gonna carry on spewing your hate. Like, you just think, like, take a step back, and maybe that will make them realize that, you know what I'm doing is wrong.
Of course, at the end of the day, you know, in the world that we live in nowadays, there's that much information. What comes in, goes out, goes out. And if you're someone who maybe doesn't feel like you're progressing in life for whatever reason, you can turn to the internet, and if you choose to outlay that by putting horrible things or saying things out of line, then at the end of the day, that's down to them. And as you said, the biggest thing you have to do, especially being a business owner, you can't bite onto that. As you said, you know, sorry you feel that way. Maybe I can help in any way possible. Someone might actually just dig deep into themselves and think, you know what? Oh, I'm sorry for even writing that. Like, do you know what I mean? Or as long as they can have that thought to think, oh, maybe I shouldn't have written that. Like, I'm not feeling good within myself, and sorry for outlaying that onto you. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there's so much positives with social media. You know, I try not to even focus on what's gonna even get to the point where you're like, oh man, like what?
Yeah, it's a lot of superficial stuff that doesn't really matter. You gotta just stay content. You know, have a bit of like gratitude and stuff.
Gratitude's key. It's key. Well, we had that conversation offline. Off the podcast, and we were saying, and it like, gratitude is a massive part to business. It's a massive part to the growth. It's a massive part to say I'm thankful for what's happened, because through my journey, as you said, you know, if I would listen to what my cousin said when I first started off, I maybe could have had second thoughts of even starting the business. When I first released 20 t-shirts of each colour, I probably could have thought, yo, moving these, you know, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. But as you said, once you start moving through these different chapters throughout whatever business you start, or even in life, people who don't even have a business, even in life, if you can look back and just be thankful and be grateful where you're at right now, I feel as if that's the game changer. It's like, you know, as long as you know, as I say, a brick by brick every day builds a house, you know, and that's the kind of way that I think in life. Like, each part of my business, when I start doing things and moving to a next level, best believe I look back at when I first started, I'm like, yo, man, I'm grateful, man. Like, yeah, and I feel like that really grounds me then. Yeah. How about yourself as well?
You gotta stay humble, man. You have to. Like, that's one of the reasons why, like, myself and yourself, like, we think about, like, community and giving back, because you can resonate with where you came from, with what you started. Like, you know, I grew up in Birmingham as well, you know, grew up in like, Woodend, Alum Rock, you know, like, it's not the best area, you know what I mean? There's a lot of, like, things that you see and happens, like, you know what I mean? So you got to remember, like, where you came from. You can't forget that. And obviously you can become really successful and you'll be living whatever lifestyle you're living, but you got to always remember, like, where you came from. You can't get too carried away, because at the end of the day, like, you know, you can't, just because you have more money than someone else doesn't make you a better person than them.
No. So, and I truly agree with that, to be fair. Like, and that's why, you know, I even think to myself, like, I wrote something on social media the other day. And sometimes I might just go around on my day to day and I'll see something and I'll probably write like a little something of what I've seen. And, you know, there was a homeless guy, and, you know, I thought to myself, he had like a paper cup, and there was a whole bunch of leaves, and he was putting the leaves in the cup to filter out, see if he could find anything. Yeah. And I just thought to myself, that person was once, you know, before anything what you see him as now, he was a normal person. Yeah. And it's mad in 2022, the way that the world's going and everything. And, you know, how can you not, like, me personally anyway, I can't just look at something like that and just think, not be grateful for where I'm at, if that makes sense. Because I'm thinking, no matter what turn in life people have, you don't know what, you know, you never know how he's ended up in the situation. Yeah. And saying back to the film you said about the community, when I seen the guy in my area, once when I was younger, I used to see him walk his kids to school. Yeah. And then to now, when I've seen him, I'm thinking, wow, like, sorry that you've ended up that way. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not nice to see, really. So yeah, man, everyone has a journey, man. Yeah, especially like with that guy, like you mentioned, the homeless guy. You know, that's why it's essential to have gratitude as well, because as successful as you can get, like, you never know, it could go away in an instant. You could be back down to the ground again, and then where do you go from there? Yeah. Like, if you was, you know, projecting your ego out, you know, flaunting and everything, like, and then you come back to this, you're just gonna feel like a fool of yourself. But if you was grateful, humble, you'll be upset, you'll be whatever, but, you know, you stay true to yourself. You haven't done anything that, you know, you stayed grateful, and, you know, you've appreciated your journey. Like, that's it. And the journey is the most key thing, I think, in business, like, and having the gratefulness and the humbleness and these things when you're on your journey, you know, and as you said, if you can get to the top, you know, let's say when I end up getting the business to 100 mil, for instance, when I get there, throughout that whole journey and the process of what it took to get to that, no matter if it's next year, 10 years, 5 years, whatever, but I just think at least I know that I've been true to myself throughout that journey. I've done a lot through community. I've helped out as many people as I can on the journey. I've continued creating clothing with meaning. I just feel like them things like that, if I can keep that throughout my business, throughout the whole journey and the whole thing, that's fulfilling to me. And that's the whole thing. If you can stay fulfilled through the businesses, what we're doing, and, you know, same as you, if you can stay fulfilled doing property, if you can keep giving good service to people, you know, you're getting locations what are very good locations, and you know, you're not just putting them on the internet and someone ends up coming to Birmingham and ends up in an area where they're not feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, it's about having that. It's the being fulfilling throughout the journey. That's basically what I'm getting at.
So yeah, for the viewers that are listening, where can they find your brand or your website or even your personal branding? Like where can they see that?
You can find the clothing brand. So the Instagram's at TEN10, so 1010 clothing. Website 1010clothing.com. Yeah, that's where you can find the clothing. About us page if you want to dive a bit deeper. YouTube, 1010 clothing if you want to watch any documentaries of the brand. If you want to look into the brand, see what it's more about, you'll find everything on there. Yeah, and also personal, that's Tyler, so TYLER 1010. That's my personal, man. More than happy to connect with anyone and yeah, have a look at the brand, man.
Amazing. Yeah, his social links are going to be in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, it should also be in the description. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching this episode. Appreciate you coming down, Tyler, today.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
It's a late one.
Yeah, it's a late one, man, with a beautiful view.
Yeah,
man. Thank you very much.
Definitely appreciate it, and we covered a lot of good points and good content, hopefully, you know, for the viewers. But thank you guys again for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and give us a follow on Spotify. Thank you.